Hello and welcome to Raising the Barr, the go-to podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs looking to elevate their marketing game. Today, we have got a great guest for you. He has got magic hands on the table and a magic contact book off the table. He's the owner of DXB Sports Massage, a leading sports therapy and wellness business in the UAE. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Toby Harris.
Thank you, Jamie. What a nice intro.
Thank you, Toby. Yeah. Worked on that one last night for you.
Excellent. I can tell it was well rehearsed. Good job.
So thank you for joining us on the show today. I can't wait to jump into how you built the DXB Sports Massage brand, the marketing strategies behind building it to where it is now. But before we do that, let's find out about you. Let's jump into the story of what brought you into the massage game.
Okay. I have always been exceptionally good at sport.
Yeah.
I was an international athlete for 3 sports through my teenage years and into my early 20s. So I competed for Scotland and Great Britain at athletics, springboard and platform diving, and I played international rugby as well. So I've always been interested in sport. I trained a lot at a young age. So injuries come hand in hand with that. I spent a lot of time in the therapy room. And then as I was working my way through school and looking at things to do for university, it seemed like one of the obvious choices.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah. And was there a particular moment that pushed you down that avenue towards business, do you think?
I've always been interested in business and sort of entrepreneurial. Like my first business, you could say, was an events company at university. We used to go out a lot. Me and my friends, and we would put our name down on the door for a guest list, and then we'd message everybody and we'd get Fitbirds to tell other people that, you know, there was a guest list and this is how you got a cheaper entry and so on. And so we used to get £1 a head for everybody that came to the nightclub using our names, and we were starting to make like fairly good money, like 20, 30, 40 quid a day, like at all the student events. And me and a couple of friends, we thought we can do this ourselves. We don't need to take a tiny bit of the door money. We could take it all. So we spoke to a nightclub. We set up our own evening. We got the hot girls at university to tell everybody about it and hand out flyers and gave them £1 a head for everybody that said their name. And so we started a nightclub events business for uni students. So I've always been into business, or maybe entrepreneurial if you like, but I've always worked hard. I had 4 jobs at university to help pay for things. And as soon as I finished university, the NHS wasn't something I wanted to do. It's very difficult to get deep into sports and musculoskeletal work and all of the things that I'm interested in the sort of massage, podiatry, physio realm, because I have a couple of degrees in physiotherapy and podiatry. And it's interesting now that I do massage, which is a different qualification altogether. But I couldn't do much of that in the NHS. And so it was like the obvious thing for me to do, leaving university, was to start my own thing.
Perfect. So DXB Massage is now one of the leading sports therapy businesses in the UAE. You've got a somewhat illustrious client list featuring everyone from, I believe, high-profile sports people to the adult entertainment superstars. So a real wide spread there. But let's rewind a bit before that.
Sure.
To where you started in Dubai, how the business started. Obviously, you started on your own. Fill us in on that part of the journey.
Yeah, so I actually moved to Dubai not to run my own business, not to be involved in physio, not to be involved in sports massage. I moved here to be a sports coach. It was my passion. I had a physio business in the UK. I maybe set it up at a young age and I wasn't ready for the responsibility. I was arrogant, ignorant, thought I could do everything myself. So sold that business, moved to Dubai to be a coach, to relax, to know when I start work, finish work, what my salary is, just less stress. And I was doing that for 2.5 years. It was okay, and then COVID came. So long story short, my coaching job was not the same. I needed to make some money. So I started offering physio and sports massage to my friends in Dubai. And very quickly, I was starting to develop traction. So the first month I started doing it, I had 11 bookings. The second month, 60. The month after that, 90. And then we had a lockdown in Dubai. And the first month after lockdown, I had 150 bookings. Just me, with my massage bed out the back of my Nissan Micra. And I thought, wow, there's legs to this. So I quit the coaching job completely and started going out and giving people massages. And by this point, it wasn't DXB Sports Massage. It was just Toby coming to my house to give me a massage. Yeah. And very quickly, I hit the ceiling. And I was like, well, how do I get more? And that's when I started looking, okay, I need to register a business. I need to hire some staff. I need to be able to cope with the demand that's coming in.
So when you initially started, was there a vision to build the business to where it is now, or is it something that's just organically spiraled? Completely
organic. There's been no 1 year, 2 year, 5 year plan, or certainly there wasn't back then. It was literally just to get some money to pay my rent. My salary had dropped all the way down to about 7,500 dirhams a month when I was coaching, because there was no hours. My company that I was working for was small. I just didn't have money to pay for the lifestyle that I wanted, the rent and so on. So it was literally to make some pocket change, some extra cash.
And how have you found that transition from being a sole trader, an individual, into running a company that now employs multiple staff? You've got drivers, you've got therapists, you've got admin staff. It's a huge amount of pressure difference, isn't it?
It's so different. Yeah. It's very hard. There's a big difference between having a business and having or running a company. The pressures are you have other people looking at you and expecting their answers or their questions to be answered. And they expect you to have the answers and be prepared. And when you're starting on your own and then you bring somebody else in and you're building up and it's happening organically. Sometimes you don't have those. You don't have the answers. You don't have the operational procedures. You don't have the strategy. You don't have the funnels. You don't have the structure. And it can be difficult whilst you're in the business to also work on the business to develop it and grow it.
Oh, 100%. I always say to everyone as well, like building a sole trader business to making £10,000, so call it 50,000 dirhams a month, is not particularly hard for people. When you then want to transition that into a 10x on that, it's a big challenge, and that's why most people quit and just go back to doing what they do.
Yeah, I agree completely. I could go out on my own and like you said, be doing 40, 50,000 dirhams a month just with my own client list, and just keep working. But what's next? Like when I get to 35, 40, or I get an injury, like I hurt my wrist or I damage my shoulder in the gym, I can't go see my clients. What's next? I'm gonna lose money, or I'm not gonna make any. Again, there's I guess a ceiling, or when I stop, I need something else to support me if I don't have anything else in the background. Whereas if you have a company and you've got some people working with you, you have that. I don't want to call it safety net. But certainly if you're on your own and you're doing it, it can, like you said, it can be easy. But as soon as you bring people in, more people, more problems sometimes, because everybody has to be dealt with in a different way. I could talk to you one way, but if I talk to someone else the same way, it might not resonate very well with them and so on. So you start to become you have to become a good manager and start to manage and understand people.
And obviously the business in those early days was very much you. Even now, you are, should we say, the figurehead of the brand. With that recruitment, how do you go about finding people that not only have the talent set required for treating high-profile people, high-net-worth individuals, but also the right values to be part of the business?
So it's very hard, actually, and you do find some diamonds in the rough. I always get asked, can I have Toby? Or the company always gets asked, can we have Toby? Can we have Toby? So it's hard to try and push your clients or people who are coming to the business looking for you or they've heard about you to then rely on and go into some of your staff. So that's when we have to start sort of looking at it as a brand and not just me. So it's important to have that personal brand, but also my business, my company needs to be a brand, and we've managed to build that. But bringing people into the company to promote that brand and be another face of the brand, that's difficult. But what I typically tend to look for is the type of person. It's much easier for me to train you to be a better therapist and to upskill you in certain practices and modalities and types of techniques than it is for me to make you likable. If you're a nice person or you get on with people easily, I like you, you like me, that's such a good basis to start a business relationship. But if you've got all the skills, your CV's amazing, you've got loads of experience, but you're a dick, it's going to be so hard for you to come into the business, resonate with everybody, and for clients to like you as well. If I don't like you, maybe my clients probably don't like you either.
And I guess in your game, it's effectively all comes down to retainment, doesn't it? It's about making sure that those clients continue to book on a weekly, twice a week, etc. basis.
Yeah, so my job is almost kind of counterintuitive to business. So as a physiotherapist, you come to see me with an issue or an injury, and my job is to fix that, right? So you don't have it, then you don't need to see me anymore. So with DXB Sports Massage, we're not physiotherapy, we're sports massage, but we instill the importance of maintenance and recovery, and just like you would service a car, you should service your body. So it is important to get that rebooking. We do want people, and everybody that comes to see me is somebody who sees me weekly. So it's important to have somebody on the team who is personable, that you want to see each week. Like I am excited to see a lot of my clients, and they're excited to see me, not just because I'm giving them pain relief, but because they like me as a person and I like them, and it's just like going and hanging out with my friend, except I'm rubbing oil into their skin.
You're like a massage therapist and a therapist rolled into one.
Yeah, so the thing is, I'm in your home. So DXB Sports Massage is a mobile business where we travel to your home, your office, your hotel. We're not in a clinic, we're not in a center. And so I come to your house, you're face down, you haven't got clothes on. You can't see me, but you can hear me. It's very much like confession. It's very intimate. And so you need to be comfortable with me. And I build rapport, I think, because I'm also touching you, like I said, no clothes on, face down. We build that rapport very quickly, or you have to be good at building that rapport, or naturally, because of the environment that we're in, you start to relax and feel comfortable with me because, well, he's in my home, he's touching me, I've not got any clothes on, I can't even see him. It's a strange relationship, but we build the relationships extremely quickly.
And as you say there, that is a strange relationship. It's also got the ability for very strange situations written all over it.
Yeah.
Are there any particularly interesting situations you find yourself in?
Yes. Yeah, okay, we can talk about them, I suppose.
Let's throw them out.
Okay. Because
Give us some weird ones.
Okay, this is when I was kind of first starting out, I went to a studio apartment, and it was with a young Ghanaian guy, and I went in there. It was about 7 a.m, and there were 4 other people in there. And everyone was asleep, and it was obvious that he was the king of the room. And he had a double bed, and there was a couple of sofas lined up, and these guys were sleeping on the sofas. And there was just enough room between the table to set up the massage bed. And he lay down, and we started doing the massage almost in pitch black because he didn't want to open the curtains to wake up the other 3 guys. And I thought, this is kind of weird. Then he starts putting like praise the Lord kind of church music on, super loud. The other guys start to wake up, and then they kind of wake up and they see this white guy in there massaging, I guess, their boss. That was a strange scenario. That was right at the beginning of the journey.
It's a very weird one, that one. And obviously you're treating people from every walk of life, from Ghanaians in 4-bedroom situations there to corporate professionals to high-profile sports stars. What are the benefits when you treat these high-profile sports stars? Obviously, you showcase it on your socials, etc. What does that do to the business and the brand?
It absolutely accelerates and catapults both my profile and the brand if I'm representing it. So, I mean, I work with people from the Dubai, the Sharjah, the RAK royal family, Emirati royal family, all the way through to OnlyFans girls and adult entertainment actors, professional footballers, UFC fighters, world champion boxers, Wimbledon champions. So a whole host of people from different backgrounds. And you can use and leverage some of those people to absolutely boost your views, maybe get some followers, maybe get some bookings. So I work with quite a lot of influencers online because they keep fit for their followers. I help them keep fit, and I leverage. You know, they need me. I kind of need them as well. It helps, and I leverage that. I never do anything for free, but I always do something where I'm going to potentially get something back for the business. Yeah.
So digging into those influencers and partnerships, how do you go about selecting those right influencers for the business, and how do they really help you grow?
It's interesting. They almost always approach me.
Okay.
I've done very little outreach to people with blue ticks and said, hey, let's do a collab, or hey, let me do some work. It's often they see me online with somebody else, and then they reach out to me. Some of them ask for collabs. Some of them just see someone who they know, like, follow, respect, and they go, wow, they're using that guy, he must be good. Yeah. And I am very good at my job, and I think that's where I've gotten to where I am because of the results that I get. And these celebrities or these influencers, they help with the social proof.
And from your experience, what separated those influencers or partnerships that have been unsuccessful and those that have benefited the business?
Definitely their location. If they're based in Dubai and I can see them regularly, that helps. If an influencer or a celebrity is coming in town for one day, sometimes it can help, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I posted a photo of me with Usain Bolt after a treatment in 2020. He was here for Expo. He ran the 10K fun run that was there. And after the treatment at his hotel, we took a photo. I posted that. And that photo is pinned to the top of my social media page. And that gets me lots of traction, lots of business offers. Oh, I see you were with Usain. And so that can make a big difference to business. But there are other people whom are massively followed, hugely respected, and I don't post them and have never posted them. And that comes from the relationship that I build with them as well. There are lots of clients that I have that are very private, very personal. I've never asked them for a photograph. Mm-hmm. I worked with Ruben Diaz from Manchester City. Never asked him for a photograph. And he's a huge name, and it probably would have helped catapult me into some sort of football awareness group on social media where I would have maybe got extra business. But you have to choose who you fanboy and who you take a photo with, and who you treat just like a normal person. I'm going to be professional with you. I'm not going to ask you for a photograph. You're probably going to ask me to come back.
I didn't realize that Usain Bolt one was pinned. I thought you just reshared it every 2 weeks.
I reshare it when I need it. If it's slow, it was the summer just now. It was a little bit slow. I'll send it out.
Quiet month. Usain's coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. And we talked about the influencers, the celebrities there. You also do a lot of partnerships with other brands in the fitness, health, wellness industry. Yeah. How do they come into play in the business?
I think it's so important. I don't use a lot of marketing strategies with the business. I'm sure we'll talk about it in a minute. But by talking to gyms or other brands, collaboration is such a good way to grow business, grow awareness, grow relationships, grow friendships. And I've been speaking about it a lot through our chat. If you're personable and people like you, they want to do things for you, they want to work with you. So we do a lot of partnerships with gyms. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, when I started the business, for me to get to where I am or generate a lot of clientele, I took a gym membership in a different gym every month. And I went and trained in a different gym every month. Oh, hey, how are you? What do you do? Oh, I've got this niggle or whatever. And when I was working on my own, that was how I generated clients. And I started to network that way.
So you mentioned there, obviously, when you're on your own, those techniques worked. You filled your capacity, 150 people a month. You're then building the team out. How did the marketing have to transition in order to acquire clients to service multiple therapists?
So as we grew and we started to have more staff to cope with the demand, it was challenging at the beginning, but then I got better at using social media and promoting and pushing my team. We spoke about celebrities and high profile people coming to the business and asking for me, asking for Toby. Mm-hmm. There comes a time when you're a business owner and you bring people into your business to represent you and have their own social proof and have their own credit. You have to let that go. You have to give people these celebrities, these influencers, these professional sports stars, and you have to trust them. And as soon as you trust a member of staff, they go, oh, well, my boss, my manager, Toby trusts me. They feel empowered. They want to do more for you. So you have to give them and show them the trust, give them the opportunity to grow. And when you do that, they'll grow for you. So to help generate some revenue for other therapists or bookings for other therapists, giving them the influencers, the high-profile athletes. UFC came in, I stepped away, and I asked two of my therapists to go and help with the UFC. They took some photos, it went on social media. Oh, I saw that this therapist was working with Bilal Muhammad. He's now, I think, the world champion. We want to book with him. I'm also a fighter, a wrestler. He must get it. Yeah. So you have to give that to your staff.
And did you find that very hard in the early days?
In the early days, yes. Now I'm really happy to do it, and I'm just like make sure if it's appropriate, you get a photograph. make sure if it's appropriate, you take a video or what have you. But a lot of these people are understanding, or when they're booking it, we talk with them. Okay, well, how about we do like some sort of collaborative thing so that our therapist can gain a little bit from you. You're a high profile person. I'm sure you get asked this a lot, and actually sometimes they offer it. Hey, do you want to take a photograph for the Instagram? So there was giving the high profile clients and the exciting and the sexy clients, letting go of that, letting your ego go and letting your team do that, and then your team flourish, and then continuing to do a good job. Like, just because we're getting busy and bringing in staff and it all is cushy, don't get lazy. Like, I'll continue working, I'll continue pumping out all of my good services, and I instill that in the staff. And word of mouth is still our biggest marketing tool. We don't do a lot of ads, we don't do a lot of SEO, and word of mouth, particularly in Dubai, building networks, being likable, personable, saying yes to coffees, saying yes to podcasts. These things help generate the business as well.
So those therapists are almost, in their own way, acting as salespeople as well.
They are. I mean, we're all salespeople, right? For ourselves. You're a walking billboard of who you are, what you represent, what you do very often. So yeah, when I'm bringing people into the team, we spoke about it, I want them to be a nice person, a personable person. I can upskill you as a therapist. We can put you on courses. I can share some of my expertise. But if you're not that personable, you're not selling yourself well, then that's going to make a dip in your bookings and ultimately business revenue.
I mean, if every business just operated a no dickhead policy, it would severely impact their success. Like, I go into some offices and I walk in and I think, how have you built such a shitty, horrible, toxic culture within this? And there is somebody who owns that business who cares so little that they've created this toxic culture, and there is no way back from that.
No. And it's amazing that they get that far. But I can understand how that happens. Let's say, for example, we just had the summer, right? In Dubai, it gets very quiet. So our revenue dropped because people are traveling. Our clients typically have a lot of money. These clients, they travel for the summer. And so we've got less people filling our diary. That gets stressful for managers or for business owners. So when you notice that drop and the purse strings have to be pulled tight, perhaps on business, you pull back from marketing or you pull back from other things, you get stressed. Maybe there's not enough money in the pot at the end of the month to cover all the salaries, all the expenses. And you can find yourself getting nitpicky with staff, or getting stressed and lashing out, or sending a message real quick because you're busy, instead of having a call or a meeting or a voice note, so that things don't get misconstrued. So as long as you can step back and have a look at the picture and understand, okay, maybe that was wrong or inappropriate, and recognizing that sometimes maybe you're being a bit hard or you're not assessing your own behavior, then you can get that toxic culture roll into the business. But as long as you can take a look, step backwards and go, okay, let's manage this better.
I mean, it's that idea of leadership, isn't it? At the end of the day, leaders have to realize you have chosen to open your own business. You've chosen to be a leader. The people working for you have not. It's your job to absorb the pressure. On the good days, you can stand up and take the credit, but on the bad days, you've got to take the hits, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I'm working for someone and my salary is X and it gets to payday, and for whatever reason it's not there, some people, if they buy into the business, if they buy into you, if they understand and respect you, they'll go, okay, I understand how it is. But some people, like, this is my job. I have a contract. This is what you need to pay me. Like, where's the money? And that's, I think, also why it's important to make sure you have a relationship with your team and with your staff as well.
And money will only ever keep people for so long. Obviously, people have got to be paid well, but there's also got to be an enjoyment factor to their job, hasn't there, to keep them rolling in?
Our job's cool because we meet really cool people. We meet exciting people. And in Dubai, we have the opportunity to work with CEOs and MDs and celebrities and world champions, Olympians, etc. And that, as a therapist, is super exciting. So people have that excitement for the job here in Dubai when they're working with DXB Sports Massage. Also, you have to make sure that they're incentivized. You need to make sure that the money is competitive. You need to give them a pathway. Are they just going to be rubbing oil in people's skin and helping people with sore shoulders for the next 5-10 years? Or is there a pathway? Are you going to help them improve their skills? Are you going to teach them about sales? Are you going to give them a management position. Now, what's exciting for us is we're about to open a bunch of recovery room clinics across the UAE and into Saudi Arabia. And so now all of a sudden there are going to be tiers to our management structure, to our company structure. So those that have been in the business now have a very clear role as to, or direction as to, I was a therapist, now perhaps I can manage some of the new therapists. Maybe I can be an area manager and so on. So there needs to be that element as well. People need to know where they're going.
And that's something I've really identified in the UAE market, which is within the UK. I think if you take a job, even if you're not really enjoying that job, people will know I need to stay in that for a 2-3 year period, or my CV is going to look shit if I've done 3 months here, 6 months there. But in the UAE, people don't seem to have that path for self-development within a company. So what they do is just stepping stone it, 6 months there, leverage that for a pay increase there, then leverage that one up again.
Yeah, I've noticed that, particularly in my companies and my industry. There is also a lot of people that will come in, learn about the business, meet some of the clients, and then think, I can do this on my own. Yeah. Away they go, they keep some of the client data, they start their own thing, and that's going to happen as well. And they're going to imitate you, and they are going to steal clients, or they're going to use the same promotional deals that you have, make their own Instagram page or business page or website or whatever, and that's going to happen as well. So like you said, some people are not that inclined to kind of climb the company ladder. They want to leverage their position and find something with a higher pay, and then another higher pay, and then another higher pay. But also in Dubai, there are people that come in and they want to then do more for themselves. And that's something I've noticed also in Dubai. There are other people who they come here and they want more. So there are two types of people. The ones that come in and they go, I'm going to work for this pay grade for a little bit, and then I'm going to jump up. And now I've been in Dubai 5 years, I'm going to jump up again. And then there are other people who move to Dubai to make something of themselves. You've got to be a certain type of person to move to the UAE, to move to Dubai, and to develop, leave your hometown and so on. And so there are a lot of the same types of people here who are enthusiastic, hungry, and they want more. Why else did you leave your hometown? Because you want more. So some people can use you as a platform to kind of springboard off to get a little bit more for themselves.
No one's ever come to the UAE for an easy, relaxed, stress-free life, have they?
Well, I mean, that's exactly why I moved here, right?
Yeah,
and now I've gone full rotation. Yeah.
So you mentioned competitiveness there. You're in an industry with very low barriers to entry, in that at the end of the day, the costs associated with someone actually starting up would be a bed, a car, and the oil.
Yeah.
If we minus off, obviously, the training requirements, etc. Yeah. Therefore, it's a highly competitive industry.
Yeah.
How do you separate yourself in that industry and absorb the big running costs that obviously smaller individuals don't have?
Separating ourselves from others in the industry has been, I think, quite easy and quite key for me since the beginning. So the USP of Dubai Sports Massage is all of our staff are from the UK or Australia, New Zealand, Western trained basically, with high qualifications. We're overqualified for sports massage. So the people that are working for us, when you have a massage treatment with them, you're not just getting somebody that plays whale noises and rubs oil into your skin. We have highly trained, highly experienced staff that give you your treatment. So if you have an issue, we're going to fix it, or we're going to make a big impact on the pain that you have or the lack of movement that you have. We're going to improve it. So people come to us and say, I can get something much cheaper down the road. Okay, cool, do that. And we'll see you when you don't have the results. So we provide the results, but our team are much more qualified, much more experienced, and much more understanding, much more personable. It goes back to how I hire. I find people who you want to spend time with, not somebody who has a great repertoire on their CV.
And it's just balancing up that personality with obviously having the skills required to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, so of course you need to have the skill set, you need to have the knowledge, you need to have the qualifications and the certificates, because we are doing something that is difficult. We're working with people's body. You need to know anatomy, you need to know physiology, you need to know training and training effect and recovery, and you need to know certain modalities and certain things to do with some people and some injuries, and what not to do in case you create an issue or an injury. So yes, we do need to have the skills, but like I said, we can train and upskill that person. What I ask people when they're applying is what their experience is personally in terms of sport or training, because that's important, because a lot of our people are sports people or people who like to train. So if you have that empathy and that understanding of what people do in the gym, because you've done it, that makes it easier to resonate with your client. And then also I ask, tell me about the individuals or the sports people, the sports teams that you've worked with, because we do a lot of work here in Dubai with sports teams and with professionals. And so it's important that you have that. If you don't have that, I'll give it to you if I like you and you come into the team and you come to join us, so we can build on that.
Perfect. So we've covered the magic hand side of things there. We also mentioned in the introduction this magical contact book you have in Dubai. You've got a very large little black book, which you've built up. You really do have a contact for everything. How has that networking, contact building enhanced the growth of the business?
It's helped massively. I like networking. I love it. I love meeting new people. I like to talk. And like everybody does, right? I like to talk about myself, but I also like to ask questions, listen, learn, show interest, congratulate. That's something that the UK is missing a lot, I think, is
100%.
being just able to interact with other people, ask them about them, and they'd be happy to respond and tell you about themselves. Whereas in Dubai, people are very happy to do that. And I love doing that. So networking's been huge for growing the business, because it helps me with getting my foot in the door at that gym, or getting my foot in the door with this concierge company that deals with all the Premier League footballers, or helping deal with some fighters at some MMA gyms. It gets me in there. I maybe speak to some of them. We have a conversation. I meet them for a coffee or whatever. Now I'm in the door to these professional fighters. So networking and being personable, meeting with people, saying yes to coffees, offering your resources to people as well will mean that they will offer them back, hopefully.
Yeah. And how do you separate out? Because I think this is a point a lot of people get confused with in Dubai, is that they consider networking as going to DIFC on a Thursday night with the same group of people every Thursday, getting on the piss, and we're going to call it networking.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate what I would call socializing with actually getting into new areas, building new key contacts, expanding your base?
It's quite easy to choose, because you know who you want to spend time with and who you want to elevate with, or who is elevated. So if you are spending time with people who are in the same pub every weekend doing the same thing, and you go on Instagram and you see that the next week that you don't go out, they're still there doing the same thing, those are the people that you're socializing with, or your acquaintances. But if there is somebody who has more than you, or is where you want to be, or you respect them, or they've got some of the things that you want, or you know a bit about them, that's how you know that this is somebody who might be valuable for networking. Don't get me wrong, you can go to the pub and chat to somebody and they'll be like, oh, cool, so you're a physio, you've got a massage business. Me and my missus, we go to the gym. We'll book in with you. I don't really call that networking. For me, I've got some friends who are very talented at networking. They're very good at networking, and they invite me to events. Whether it is a football group chat, whether it's going out on somebody's boat at the weekend, whether it's going to a coffee morning where there's a few people that might have some mutual interests, I'll say yes to those things and I'll do them, because I know that there's somebody of value or that I respect that's invited me to that. So I know it's very, very likely that there's going to be somebody else there of value, or somebody else that I'm going to respect. But you have to choose what you say yes to. You can't say yes to everything.
Can't. That's how we met, wasn't it? On the back of a boat. I think we had a little photo shoot on a pink flamingo.
It was, yeah. A pink flamingo, a pink yacht. I'm sure there were pink swim shorts going around. There were probably pink drinks.
Exactly. So let's now look at the future. Okay. Massage, sports therapy, etc. Over the past few years, there's been this big change in direction. ice baths, professional sportsmen have always been on them. Now every man and his dog's on them.
Yeah.
Infrared saunas were somewhat, reserved for high-performing athletes, weren't they? You've now got your average Joe doing them. Everybody is getting more and more into it. Obviously, you've seen this gap. You're now transitioning into a new sector with recovery rooms. Fill us in on that and where you see the future going.
So ice baths started to get really popular actually after that ice bucket challenge. You remember when everyone was chucking ice on their head? And if you think back to social media trends, it kind of followed on quite quickly off of that. But like you said, ice baths have been around for decades, if not more. Professional athletes have been using them. Professional sports teams have been using them. They're at all the top universities in the States and in the UK. And it's just about availability. Like, it's now cost effective and accessible, ice baths and saunas. And there's a bit of education that's gone out as well. I mean, if you look at phones, mobile phones and computers, for example, big corporations or celebrities or people with money, those were the only people that had them 20, 30 years ago. Now everybody's got a phone. Even like 4 and 5-year-olds are cutting around with little phones and whatever. So it's about the technology changing, it being more effective, more affordable, more accessible in the industry. But as soon as some people, and again, it goes with the social media trend, as soon as people start to see it on social media, that's when it really starts to snowball. And in the last couple of years in particular, ice baths have been trending on social media. Wellness is trending. Longevity it's trending. But I also think it's here to stay. There are fads in the industry. Ice baths and saunas are not a fad because they've been around for so long. Yeah. But now the education is just so much more accessible. People are learning about it, not necessarily from peer-reviewed studies, but from TikTok and the celebrities and the people that they like on the internet.
And how were you taking advantage of those in recovery rooms?
So recovery rooms is our in-house facility where we're offering saunas, ice baths, sports massage and assisted stretching. And I noticed that everybody was asking for ice baths, saunas, the best way to recover during my massage sessions. And we were also asked, where can we go to you? We want to come to you. Some people don't want a massage therapist coming to their home. So we started to create a place where people could come to us. So Recovery Rooms was actually born in 2023. We opened in February and then we closed in December. So it was a 10-month project that cost me a lot of money. I made a bunch of mistakes. I probably made a couple of enemies, but I made a lot of friends and I also learned loads. So that was the first Recovery Rooms project, up and then down a little bit more if you looked at the bank balance. Now Recovery Rooms is opening in multiple locations across Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, KSA, because we've partnered with GymNation. So GymNation is one of the Middle East's largest gym chains. And they approached me and said, hey, we see what you're doing in the industry. Again, it was through social media and networking that I got these contacts in the way into the CEO and the owners of GymNation. And they said, hey, Toby, we want to work with you. We want to build this out together. So we've designed our recovery rooms across all the gyms. So we've got planned 15 locations, which is a huge jump from me in my Nissan Micra cutting around people's homes. So we still have the mobile team, DXB Sports Massage, but Recovery Rooms is going to be available in, like I said, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Riyadh, Daman, Al Khobar in KSA. So there's a big growth and big expansion there because we've noticed a gap in the market. I'm one of the, market leads in the industry in terms of the knowledge for these types of things. And so I'm working with a great team and a great partnership with GymNation to make it accessible.
Amazing. And we mentioned there briefly technology. Do you think technology is at any point going to pose a threat to the people within your industry? Could AI technology and robots be doing what your therapists are doing?
No. And yes.
Cover all bases there, Toby.
Yeah, that's it. Next question. No. There are robot massage clinics, mostly in the USA.
There are already ready.
It's already there. Google it. You can get a robot massage. I mean, butt massages and back massagers for your car and all that kind of stuff been around for ages. Massage guns and stuff, it's coming. Technology is expanding. Cupping is a very ancient technology. Now there are infrared electric cups you can stick on and you can do it yourself at home. You don't need a therapist or talent or skill to do it. So yeah, technology is coming in, but I don't think it will take over. A robot is not going to be able to interact with you and naturally feel things that a human can.
Is that what it is? Actually, the skill is feeling it within the body.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things that make a massage therapist a human job and not a robot job. One is understanding the want and the need of the person on the table. If you're a sports person and I've been a sports person, I understand what it means to you to train and how important it is to fix an issue or an injury. So you have trust with me that I know how you feel. That's hugely important. Some people don't want to talk to you. Some people aren't extroverts. Some people aren't interested in conversation. And that's fine. That'll work for somebody who wants a robot massage. Other people will ask me questions. They're inquisitive. They want to understand why this is happening to their body, what they can do differently. Are there things that they can implement to stop this happening again? And while a robot might print out something at the end that is a blanket for people and the issues that you put into the computer, a robot's not going to be able to have that discussion with you. But also, one of the key things that makes me very different from other therapists in the world is people will turn to me, and I'm sure there are other therapists out here that go, oh my God, that's me too. They go, how do you know that's tight? How did you feel that? Oh my God, I didn't even know I was tight in there until you started touching it. And there can be an element of like a sixth sense or just a feeling. A bit like a mechanic turns on a car and goes, yeah, it's your fan belt. Yeah. How do you know that? Years of experience, a bit of intuition, anecdotal evidence from doing other things with other people. Robot massages can't give you that.
I bet it's always a weird one in your game as well with which people take pain the best. Because I've heard people say before, you get these massive like gym guys on the table and they're screaming in agony as soon as you start pushing. Then you get a little female gymnast who can take it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. People will tell me, "Oh, I've got a really strong pain threshold," and I'm like, "Fucking excellent. Okay,
let's go, baby."
All right, yeah, cool. But it's a myth. The more pain that we give you, the better it is for you. That's a total myth. It's absolutely not true with sports massage and deep tissue therapy. Discomfort, a 6, 7 out of 10 is maybe pretty normal. If we're hitting 8, 9, 10 out of 10, let me know and I'll change what I'm doing. Or if there is something that is going to hurt, I'm going to tell you and I'm going to warn you first. And I'm going to say, I'm going to move my elbow to the left. And that person on the table starts to scream. I've got a couple of people that fall asleep during my sessions. So
that must just be a chat.
I know. There's probably nobody watching this anymore. They're like, right, no. Tai Tuivasa, Bam Bam. He's a UFC heavyweight fighter. Drinks the beer from the shoe. I don't know if you've seen him. Really cool guy. He trains like a beast. Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. He parties hard too. But he falls asleep during the sessions. He's a big guy. I'll put my elbow in his hamstring or up his back and I'll hear snoring from the headrest. So there are some people who can just take it. He's a UFC fighter, obviously. He bangs around, so he can take pain. I've had one other person fall asleep during sessions as well, and she was a nurse working shifts with 3 young kids, probably just exhausted, and you could have a drill and a bomb going off and she won't wake up. And then I've got other people, big, muscly, IFBB pro world champion guys. You can't get your hand around their bicep, and you just touch them a little bit, and they're going to flinch. So yeah, there's a huge range, and it's always surprising who can take the pain and who can't.
Okay, perfect. So let's jump into some quickfire questions.
Okay.
As a business owner, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had given you earlier in life?
To let things go and delegate and trust people in your team and around you sooner.
Okay. Biggest mistake you've made in business in Dubai?
Saying yes to everything and being stretched too thin.
Greatest success in business in Dubai?
Securing a partnership that's going to take us across the GCC.
Big, that one.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, 3 top tips for somebody looking to set up a health, wellness, fitness brand, build it into a business in the UAE.
Contact me if you need help or pointed in the right direction. Reach out to me. I'm sure there's something that we can do together, or I can point you in the right direction. To reach out to other people like me to gain more understanding and more knowledge of the industry and where you're moving to. Working in Dubai is not like working in the UK. It's not like working in the US. You need to have an understanding. What works in the UK is probably not going to work in Dubai. People's mindsets are different. And there's more money here as well to help you get to what you want. So one of my issues was I thought too small. Think big, and you might be able to achieve it. Number 3, maybe get out here and spend some time here. Network, meet people. All of these 3 are kind of about networking and speaking to people in your industry. Gain knowledge about what you want to do. And come out to Dubai and experience it and see what's going on before you take the jump, maybe. Or do what I did and take the jump and just wing it. It's worked for me.
Take the jump and hope you survive.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Toby. It's been great to find out more about DXB Sports Massage, the expansion plans with recovery rooms, and obviously your story as a whole. So
Awesome.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode of Raising the Bar. We have got some fantastic guests coming up over the next few weeks. So don't forget to follow us, subscribe, like us on wherever you consume our podcast. Thank you for joining us again today.